This is Joe's Corner 76, and I will be discussing the human condition. In order to change it, we have to be involved. Dehydration and its effects. Dehydration has been linked to depression, anxiety, and cognitive decline. What if improving depression and lowering your risk of dementia was as simple as drinking more water? Dehydration is usually linked to low blood pressure, increased heart rates, and headaches. You might be surprised to know how it's related to two unexpected diseases. Researchers believe hydration could be a powerful tool to help our brain be at its best physically and emotionally. The body and brain need water. Did you know that an adult can only survive 3 days without water? This makes sense since an adult body is between 55 and 65% water. Water is vital for many different body functions, including the brain. If the brain isn't properly hydrated, brain cells cease to work properly. Dehydration makes the brain work harder than usual to perform a task, and it can lead to volume changes in the brain and brain ventricles. Among older people, dehydration is considered a common occurrence. Reports state 17 to 28% of older adults are dehydrated, and it's also frequently a reason for admission to the hospital. One study showed hydration is diagnosed in 8.9% of hospitalized patients over age 65. Note, hydration can cause illness and death on its own, but it can also worsen a number of medical conditions. Failure to drink enough water or losing water through fever, sweat, vomiting, and diarrhea can also cause dehydration. Some medicines, like diuretics, can cause dehydration by increasing urination, and so do caffeine and alcohol consumption. You can get dehydrated easier than you think. A 1.5% decrease in body weight, say 2.25 pounds on an adult weighing 150 pounds, due to inadequate water consumption or water loss, can result in mild dehydration. A lack of water in the body's cells and blood vessels can cause a number of things, including dizziness, headache, tiredness, dry mouth, and constipation. Being hydrated can bring you down. Although not widely known, depression and anxiety have been linked to dehydration. One study demonstrated an inverse relationship between drinking water and depression. Researchers found that people who drank 5 glasses of water or more per day were at a lower risk of depression and anxiety. People who drank less than 2 glasses per day doubled their risk of depression and anxiety. Varying water intake can change moods. Increasing water intake to people who are low water drinkers has the potential to improve their mood. Decreasing water in high water drinkers tends to lower their moods. What causes this? Depression is related to lower levels of serotonin, a neurotransmitter that has a significant effect on mood and also cognition. Serotonin is generated from the amino acid tryptophan. If enough water isn't present within the brain, the tryptophan can't cross the blood-brain barrier, which is a network of blood cells and tissues that is made up of closely spaced cells. They help keep harmful substances from reaching your brain. According to the National Cancer Institute, limits on how much tryptophan is in the brain and subsequently lower serotonin levels contribute to depression. Mood is affected by dehydration, causing greater feelings of fatigue and less vigor. Dehydration is also linked to poor sleep, which can be a contributing factor to depression and anxiety. Also, dehydration has been associated with increased levels of cortisol, a stress hormone that can lead to feelings of anxiety. Lowered cognitive performance. Reviewing some studies, research has shown even mild hydration can have a harmful effect on cognitive performances. Reviews of studies to date show that being dehydrated by less than 2% lowers the ability to perform tasks that require attention, psychomotor, and immediate memory skills. Another study revealed the effect of mild hydration on the cognitive of healthy young men. Researchers found that mild dehydration of 1 to 2% resulted in decreased attention and working memory and increased anxiety, tension, and fatigue. Researchers believe this happens when a fluid shift occurs in the brain. Some of these studies change inside based on neuroimaging studies, but this still needs to be proven. The elderly, who are more likely to become dehydrated and experience even more significant change in cognitive performance than their younger counterparts, including delirium and confusion, which can result in a fall. It doesn't take much for an elderly person to become dehydrated. A loss of less than 1% of body weight because of not enough water consumption can produce cognitive impairment in this population. Older people are also more risk of dehydration because they have less water in their body because of a loss of muscle mass. The use of diuretics and a lowered ability to recognize when they are thirsty. Dementia can also increase the risk of dehydration because of forgetting to drink or having difficulty to ask for a drink. For an older adult who may already be prone to dehydration, they may have a more chronic state of dehydration. Chronic dehydration with any age-related cognitive deficit could put these adults at greater risk. Is there a link between dehydration and dementia? A German study of people between the age of 60 and 89 showed that higher dehydration was associated with a more significant decline in cognitive function and well-being over time. This confirmed that good hydration plays an important part in preserving cognition as well as well-being as we age. Another study investigated the connection between hydration and dementia, and there were some worrisome results. The study involved more than 1,000 participants over age 65 and found that dehydrated people had a higher risk of dementia. Additionally, research found that those who had dementia had an increased rate of dehydration. What a vicious cycle. Further, it has been suggested that dehydration can speed up cognitive decline in those suffering from dementia. A study published in Nutrients showed dehydration is associated with developing a rare type of dementia, such as Alzheimer's disease or vascular dementia. Hydration for a healthy brain. Although hydration can cause a decline in cognitive performance, depression, and anxiety, proper hydration can help improve and may even reverse these conditions. According to the National Academies of Science, Engineering, and Medicine, men need to consume about 125 ounces or 3.7 liters daily, and women should consume 91 ounces, 2.7 daily. Note, about 80% of water intakes comes from drinking water and other beverages. The other 20% comes from food we eat. The total amount of liquid needed to stay hydrated may have to be modified depending on exercise level, hot or humid weather, fever, vomiting, diarrhea, pregnancy, and breastfeeding. Not feeling thirsty and producing light yellow urine are indicators of adequate hydration. Note, there are a number of apps available to help you manage hydration if necessary. To stay hydrated, it is recommended that you drink water between meals, before, during, and after exercise, and whenever you feel thirsty. Happy hydration. It'll keep you sharp. You can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. You can hear me on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube at Joe's Corner 76. There's a lot of podcasts there. I hope you'll listen to these. Recommend them to your friends if you enjoyed them. See you later.